Welcome to the We For John podcast, the show dedicated to men and the silent struggles we face day to day. From tips to deep conversations, we strive to give you a voice in a world that wants to keep you silent. I'm your host, Soaring, and today I am joined by our internet dad, HangryPixels. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Doing good. Like I said, it's a little cold in this room, so if you see me shiver every so often, just ignore me.
Um, so today we are talking about tips for maintaining good mental health and preventing burnout. This is kind of a big one for me because the whole reason why the podcast didn't keep going last year is because of burnout.
Yeah, and it's what happens when you take on a lot of things at once and try and juggle around. I don't know, what were you at? 7 projects, 8 projects?
Commissions, streaming, full-time job, the podcast. I think that was it for. I think I had like a daily art project I was doing, but yeah, it's probably like closer to like 5 or 6 things that I was doing, and they
That's,
eventually, when one stops, the rest of them fall shortly behind.
yeah, that's that's a lot to be juggling up in the air. So um I try and I kind of have the same issue where people ask me, for favors or ask me to do something. I don't like saying no. I like, helping people out and everything. So,
Oh, so you're a yes man.
yeah, a lot of the time I'm getting a little bit better with it.
The worst answer is to say yes that you're a yes man. No, 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 no. I only say maybe.
I'm getting better at it. I'm kind of look. I really want to be able to help you out, but I don't want to make promises I can't keep and let you down. So that's kind of like my professional phrase that I'm using at work.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some of the tips that we have here will help you, will definitely help me, and hopefully help you that are watching. Before we get to the episode, any social links will be down in the description, as well as a link to our Tiltify for. So every quarter of the year, we will be highlighting a particular charity. First quarter, so January to March, we'll be focusing on ASPCA. So that link will be also down in the description. All
Love it.
right.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm still learning the whole YouTube thing. So I don't know. Like, oh, by the way, you need to check down below. Uh, Normally it's just like, oh, I'll just put it down there, and you know, I'm really bad
Yeah,
at calls to action.
yeah. YouTube is like and subscribe, comment below, yada yada. Links are in the description. That
Speaking
whole thing.
of, as of recording this episode, we're sitting at 17 subscribers, which is
I
16
saw.
more than I thought I would get. And I think we're sitting at like 41 views
That's great.
and 6.4 watch hours, which that's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, we only have 3 episodes. I think collectively we're sitting at watch time is like right about 2.5 hours. That's not bad.
I don't think so.
The main thing right
And
now is focusing on retention. So, but over
I,
time we'll figure out the formula. We are not the Mr. Beast videos. We're not giving away money. We're just
we're not there yet.
giving away tips.
Tips and tricks for your mental health and awareness. So yeah, if you're watching this video, click the next one too.
Yeah.
Helping out.
So this will be episode 5. They don't have to be watched in any particular order, which is great. I need to work on getting the titles better because you're on mobile, sometimes the title will run off and it's just like blah 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 dot dot dot.
Oh,
So it doesn't. It's not a very good searchable term, so I need to figure that out. But anyways, so first would be to take care of your physical health. So that would be eating healthy, getting enough sleep, exercising regularly. Um, a lot of times when you focus on the physical, the mental stuff kind of comes with it.
Yeah, and those are 3 things that I'm not I'm not good at. Um, I know when I get stressed out, I stress eat, and a big thing for me is breakfast. Usually, I if I know I have a bad day ahead of me or a busy day ahead of me, I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna get something at McDonald's," or "I'm gonna, I don't know, get Taco Bell breakfast," and I can't imagine either of those breakfasts being healthy at all, any way,
No.
shape, or form. But I think I'm kind of using them as a coping mechanism to get through my day.
Yeah. When fast becomes part of the preparation process, healthy goes out the window.
Absolutely. Yeah. And gym, haven't been able to do it. There was a point in time where I was actually going later at night. Um, I mean, we're talking like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, which cut into my sleep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
both of those things suffered.
Well, thankfully, like, so while this tip might sound daunting for some people, you don't have to like completely change everything to work on it. So, eating a healthier diet, sometimes that can be keeping your normal diet, but then adding a couple healthy things along the way. Um, Mainly making sure you eat 3 meals a day, minimum, depending on your caloric intake. Um, like I know I'm really bad. I don't eat breakfast. I usually get up, get dressed, out the door. It's not very good for you.
Mm.
Could lead to health issues. Like since my job is very strenuous, it can actually cause muscle fatigue by not eating properly. That's something I need to work on. But you can do things like eating your 3 meals and then maybe adding a snack in between, whether it be fruit, veggies. Um, if you're running a caloric deficit, something that'll get your caloric uptake up there. Sometimes like salami and cheese would be good. Just small
Mm.
things. Because when you do the small things, they start to add up. So you don't have to go like full on like keto or paleo or Atkins or whatever the diet may be. It's just adding healthier habits to your eating.
And that's what I found with especially eating healthy. It's difficult going from like 0 to 100 when you're eating healthy. It's better just make minute changes along the way. Like you
Hmm.
said, bring a healthy snack to the day. Like with me, I'm trying not to do the fast food breakfasts, but instead I'm trying to maybe meal prep for breakfast. I'm gonna be trying to make like maybe like some breakfast sandwiches with like a egg white, turkey sausage, and cheese, maybe between like whole grain bread or something like that. I find if you do too much too quickly, you don't stick to it, or me personally anyway.
Yeah.
But the smaller changes over the course of maybe a month or two, um, they they stick around a little bit more as a habit.
Well, and I know when this episode's coming out, I know right now there is some like financial issues when it comes to getting stuff from the grocery stores. A lot of like
Oh,
eggs,
yeah.
cheese, milks, those are just skyrocketing price wise. So if you have to do the fast food thing just so that you can afford to eat, you can do small things here and there. Like if you go to McDonald's and you get a McChicken or a burger or something, take the bun off. That's just empty carbs. You don't necessarily need that. You could probably order a salad and then take your burger and chop it up and add it to your salad. That's a healthier option versus eating the cheeseburger with the bun and all. um, but like I said, it doesn't have to be very drastic. It's just small things to get you to the goal point.
Yeah.
um, Getting enough sleep. Things I would recommend for that would be um, putting yourself on a bedtime schedule. If you know you have to be up at 5 in the morning, don't stay up till 2. Um,
I
I
I'm
mean, I
guilty.
know
I am absolutely guilty there.
our mileage may vary, but put yourself on a sleep schedule. Try and make sure you get a minimum of like 7 hours sleep. Some people can operate around 6, 6.5, but usually 7 to 8 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because sleep in regards to your physical health is that's the point of the day where your body gets to repair itself. um, Everything slows down, your heart rate slows down. The body starts to take a mental inventory of what's going on and it starts to focus on those areas. Um, so definitely get plenty of sleep. It sucks. I know you're probably in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you name it, and you don't want to be on a bedtime schedule, but it's good for you. And then the
Yeah.
exercising regularly. Now, I'm a big advocate for not beating yourself up, meaning that people have a bad habit of wanting to go 0 to 100 right from the get go. Guess what? We're not built for that. Um, Not unless you're like Superman or the Flash or whatever, but I don't think any of us are. It's okay to go 0 to 5, 0 to 10. Start slow, work yourself up. Exercise could just be going for a walk around your neighborhood, or if you're in a situation where you can't walk outside, you got a home, you can walk in your home. Um, do stair steps, so like walk up and down the stairs. Um, just small things to get you active can help to a better mental outlook.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with working out, you don't want to go 0 to 100 because you can really do some damage to your body.
Yeah.
So baby steps. I remember years ago, um, I decided that I would start jogging in the mornings, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll wake up tomorrow. I'll jog around the block. It'll be no problem. I didn't make it maybe a quarter down, down my sidewalk before I got winded and I had to stop. And
Oof.
I was a little disappointed in myself, but
Yeah.
um, every day I got a little further and a little further. And I think I didn't stick with it, unfortunately, but I think after 3 or 4 weeks, I was able to get around my block, but I had to like stop a couple times to
Yeah.
catch my breath. Um, so I was like, all right, that's a victory, but I never
Yeah.
did it again.
There was a YouTuber I used to watch. His name is Boogie2988. Um, he got surgery on his stomach, trying to lose a bunch of weight. He was
Mm,
very overweight, and he was doing really good progress with that. But then he started letting the internet trolls get to him. He started having a lot of self doubt. He plateaued a lot, but it's because he kept trying to go 0 to 100, um,
yeah.
or at least 0 to 50. But his body was not ready for that, and so he was constantly falling off his diet, falling off his exercise. And I don't even watch his content anymore because he started to let the toxicity run his life
Oh,
between people on Twitter, comment section, and on YouTube. And it's very tragic, but it happens. It's okay to not go 0 to 100. Like I've said in a past episode, your body's not ready for it. And if you go
no.
0 to 100 right from the get go, guess what? You're going to end up crashing into a wall. Just plain and simple. Um, just,
Yeah, especially if you go in with the expectation that, all right, I'm going to bench press 300 pounds right off the bat. And
yeah,
if, um, if you can only do like 20 pounds, you might feel, disappointed or you'd let yourself down. Especially in the environment of a gym. I know when I first started going, um, I'm looking around at everyone like, doing these 40, 50 pound things. And I'm sitting here with like the 10 pounds. I'm like, all right, no one's watching me. So it is a little intimidating to go to the gym, but you have to realize that you're there for you. You're not there for anyone else. You're working on your own, um, your own path, your own weight loss journey, if you want to call it, your own health journey. Um, so who cares if someone's watching you going, "Oh wow, he's only lifting 5 pounds. Look at him."
yeah.
So what? I'm starting. I'll be you in a couple months. I don't care.
Well, and I mean, when you think about it, you do more progress by lifting the 5 pounds 100 times than you will ever do doing the 100 pounds 10 times. Because a lot of everyone has different reasons why they go to the gym. Not everyone is there to build up muscle mass. Not everyone's there to um, get the thick quads or whatever. Just be content with what you want for yourself and exercise accordingly.
just want to find my abs again. I know they're there. I hear everyone has them, but
Well, but
I
we
wouldn't mind
also we
finding
also
them.
live in the age where the dad bod is more acceptable.
Yes, dad bod.
And that's not to say like having a dad bod means you're unhealthy. It's just, like I carry my weight very different than how Hangry carries his weight. Um, but it's a matter of being comfortable with how you look. Like, yeah, I could probably lose 10 pounds. I stopped drinking soda. I've been drinking a lot of sweet tea, um, and a lot of water. My bladder has not been thanking me while I'm out on the job. Um,
Yep.
but crap, where was I going with this?
Dad bod.
But yeah, dad bods are more acceptable. Like I'm sorry. If it were me, I would much rather lay on someone that's got a little bit of stomach, which got some patty, than a guy with washboard abs. And it feels like I would rather be laying on cinder blocks.
I would agree. I would agree. Rather be comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable but healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Um,
the
I know I
next,
could be healthier than what I am, so working
well,
toward it.
just baby steps.
Yep.
And plus you got plenty of brothers in this group. I'm sure there's other people that are looking to you, um, for guidance. Just you got plenty of people that are willing to be accountability partners if you need it.
Might be leaning on some of those resources.
That's all right. I'll even make a channel in the Discord. Um, you know, I can make it private and have set a group up for you, and then you could choose who you want your accountability partner, and then you'll have a private channel you can post to on the Discord. No one else will be able to see it.
Yeah. I'm um I'm kind of better when people are looking in on that because I feel like a little bit more. I was a pressure, just more responsibility. But I just gotta do it. I just
Yeah.
that's the thing. Sometimes we were talking last time. Work stresses at work and work pressure and work schedules. Yeah, life gets crazy sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
when do I go to the gym? Also, why would I want to go to the gym when I can just maybe sit down at the computer and just chill out for like half hour to 45 minutes? But in the end, you really do need to get your health up and just push yourself to do it.
It's funny that you say that because as soon as you started saying that, I was thinking of a clip from Bluey. Bluey, her ice cream cone fell over,
I
and
love
she
Bluey so
says,
much.
"I don't want a life lesson. I just want an ice
I,
cream."
I just want an ice cream. That's one of the best lines because it's so true.
It is. But yeah, I have no problem with making a channel just for that, just so that you can post your progress and we can hype you up or we can tear you down depending on how good you're doing.
That
Um,
would be appreciated.
Um, so the next step would be to practice good stress management. I know this. We definitely talked about this one in the last episode. Um, so identifying things that cause you stress. Unfortunately, stress has a way of appearing not just in your mental health, but also your physical health. If you are not addressing the stress, it can make you sick. It could. I've seen a couple people where it's literally crippled them to the point where they couldn't get out of bed because their body was just so bogged down with the stress that they did not want to address. Um, so, like we mentioned in the last episode, we have a list of tips. I'll have a card somewhere up over there talking about the last episode, doing the YouTube thing. Um, so it can be journaling, meditation, deep breathing techniques. If you seek out a professional, they will give you tips for coping mechanisms. This helps with stress management.
Yeah, absolutely. That's stress has a way of just it's sneaking up on you. There's so many times where I run into something during my workday or in my life. I'm like, let me just put that in the back burner. Let me think about that one. I don't want to deal with that right now. And then it kind of just gets shoved down, and that piles up. And I'll be honest, I think I mentioned this in the last episode that a couple years ago I started to get these awful chest pains, just it actually
Yeah.
just felt like someone was taking my heart and squeezing it like this, where I was doubled over in pain, couldn't move. So I went to the doctor the next day, and I think I had a heart attack last night. I'm not 100% sure. They ran all the tests, and they're like, "No, you're fine. Are you under stress?" And I was like, "Can stress do that?"
Yeah.
So it was a huge surprise. And so I've been trying to. I It's been a few months now, maybe like 7 or 8 months since I've had that happen to me. I'm just trying to, you know, take some of the stress and find outlets for it instead of just piling it down and not dealing with it.
Yeah.
So,
The one of the main reasons for the podcast was that I was bottling up a lot of my stresses, anxieties, and it was getting to the point where, so picture, and I don't know if I'll do the YouTube thing where I put a picture of whatever I'm describing, but picture like a giant glass jar. It's got a cork top, keeping it closed. But like you can see this liquid, it's in there and it starts to bubble, and then it causes that cork to kind of like bounce around in it. That's how I was feeling. Eventually, that cork was going to pop out, and it was going to be a geyser go all over the place.
mhm.
So I needed to find an outlet for me to kind of disclose some of the things that I was dealing with, kind of just like bear it out there, whether it be on a stream or a podcast. It was still trying to come up with the idea of the podcast at the time, and I just didn't know what to do. Um, Even just venting is a great way to kind of
Oh, absolutely.
help with that stress. Just being able to like bear your heart out there and say, "This is what I'm struggling with." Oh, we are not paid at all for this, but there is an app. It kind of goes with the whole mental health thing. I don't know if it's on iOS, but I know for sure it's on Android. Mostly because I have an Android phone and I did download it and tried it out for a bit. There's an app called White Flag, and what it is that you sign up for it. You have to have a cell phone number. Mostly it's just so they can verify who you are, and not be like a bot account. But what it is you go on there, you set up an account, you talk about, you hit these little checkpoints of like what your background was, like whether it would be like child abuse, so things that you've struggled with in the past, so stuff you've recovered from, stuff that you're currently coping with, and the stuff that you've recovered from. And once you list all those things out, what you can do is they have a chat. It's a completely anonymous chat. And if you're struggling with something, you can hit a button and it'll be setting up your white flag. You instantly get put into this list, and someone can click your name and start talking to you.
Oh, that's great.
On the name, it'll list what you're struggling with. I talked to a guy yesterday. He was having some suicidal thoughts, and so I was able to talk to him because he was dealing with a lot of stress. I've helped two people since I've been on the app. I have not put up my own white flag, but I was just kind of checking out. This guy on TikTok was talking about it. He says it's hard for me to talk about this because as soon as I say the name, they're going to start to, because it's white flag. People are automatically going to think the worst. But it's to be able to talk to people anonymously about the things you're struggling with when you don't necessarily feel like you have someone to talk to. So I'll have a link to it in the description. I know for sure it's on Android. I'll double check for iOS, and I'll have a link if there's on to iOS. But it's called White Flag, and I recommend it to anyone that's struggling. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, a professional helps first and foremost, but if you are desperate enough and you need someone to talk to right away, that would be a good resource as well.
Yeah, and sometimes just like I said, venting out or talking to someone who's just willing to listen
Yeah.
is just so helpful. You don't realize, um, just letting it out instead of keeping it bottled up. But that's a great app.
Yeah. So I'll definitely have the link in the description. Um, Sometimes some of the topics, like if you're scrolling through the list looking for someone to talk to of someone that's dealt with stuff that you're currently either already dealt with or currently still dealing with, um, the list does get a little daunting. I will say it feels like you're doom
Mm.
scrolling, just because there's just so many people asking for help. But reach out to somebody. talk to them, let them know that they're not alone at least. I think I did that to like 5 or 6 people. I just went in there, pushed a button that says, "Just want to let you know you're not alone," and then I hopped out. Because sometimes you don't have the time to talk to everybody. Do you have any
Yeah.
more techniques for stress management?
Um, really learning this can work and personal life, but learning to recognize things that need your urgent attention versus things that are might still be important but can be taken care of at a later date. Um, a lot of the times, if you think everything is urgent and you need to jump on everything right this minute and fix it, you become just overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. But if you actually sit down and kind of sort through everything you need to do, I mean, I do it at work all the time where I'm like, okay, this is, I need to have this done by 4 o'clock today. This is urgent versus some type of, billing issue that can wait until like tomorrow. It really helps organize your priority list instead of having to worry about everything at once. Just break it down into things. Okay, I need to do this. This can wait. And this is completely unimportant. I can do this a week down the road. Who cares? As long as it gets done at some point in time. Um, so you don't feel like you have to do everything at once.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably one of the biggest things. Like I said, you can take that into work. You can take that in personal life. If you're like last couple weeks ago, I had my hot water heater broke.
Yeah. That was
That became an
unfortunate.
urgent issue because all of a sudden, here we are. What are we in a month in the winter, and
Mhm.
I have no hot water.
Eesh.
So urgent. Everything else took priority. Took a step down in a priority. Whatever I had to worry about, that moved into priority one.
Yep.
No matter what.
Thankfully, you were
Uh,
able to get a plumber in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, we did kinda make fun of you a little bit on Twitter with the
It's
constant Mario memes.
yeah, it was good. And that's the other thing too. You can laugh at things like that. Of course it sucks. But like, you know, uh, you can things like this happen. It's not just, I'm not the only person who's had a hot water heater break.
Yeah,
It's happened to a lot of people and you realize that, things could be much worse.
yeah.
So,
Um,
you take it lightheartedly and you just deal with it as quickly as you can.
so the next step for, maintaining good mental health and preventing burnout is setting boundaries. Um, you have to learn to say no, because unfortunately, if you don't say no, you will take on too much and you will accelerate your burnout. I know I did that when I first started the podcast in May of last year. I had so many ideas. There were so many things I wanted to do, um, but I couldn't execute on them because I put my dedication into all these different baskets. And
Mm.
eventually it got to the point where I know we talked about in last episode, it felt like I was, got, holding two sticks and there's plates balancing and spinning. And as soon as one plate fell down, the rest of it fell down.
Yep.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
so if you go to weforgeon.net, you can find our previous 8 episodes from last year. Um, So yeah, that's we got 8 episodes. We got 10 recorded, but 2 of the episodes the audio got all garbled, so I couldn't publish those. So yeah, learn to say no. It is okay to not do everything, and you need to be okay with that eternally, because people would much rather you do one thing 100% than 10 things 10%.
Right. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I had mentioned before, like, I'd really like to help you out with this. I got a lot on my plate right now. Um, can you wait on this request? Um, and like I said, I don't want to promise you something and either fall short on it or do it half-assed or whatever. Um, I know me, I like to do everything as best as I can, and if I feel like I need to just do something just to do it, just to get it off my to-do list and, check it off, that's doesn't help. So yeah, you can say no. It's not a terrible thing. And if someone gets offended by that, by you saying no, I can't help you right now, then maybe it's time to reevaluate you know
Well, and
who they are in your life.
I think I think part of the problem is that people don't know how to say no. It's like, yeah, people will say, well, it's just a two-letter word. Yeah, but it's how you say that no that kind of lends to whether the person that you're saying no to could either harbor bad feelings towards you or be deeply upset, or they might be very understanding. I know something that just came to mind in like in a professional setting. If you are saying no to doing a task, you could say, I do not have the resources at the moment to dedicate my attention to you. Can we pick this up at a later time?
Right.
Um, or, I mean, I'm sure there's other nice ways of saying it, um, but you have to say no. Um, Set clear boundaries between work and personal commitments, because if you commit all your time to work and you have no attention towards your personal stuff, then one of those relationships is going to falter, and that's not good either.
Yeah. And you always got to take care of yourself first. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of others. Um, and that's you know a huge thing. Because if you say, "Yeah, I'll help you out," okay, sure, I'll help you out too. I'll help. You. All of a sudden, you get burnt out, and you're not there for anybody, and you just so it's like you said, it's okay. You can you can say no every so often.
So the next step would be to prioritize self care. Make time for activities that you enjoy, that help you relax, whether that be reading, listening to music, spending time in nature, focusing on a hobby, playing video games. Like there's lots of things you can do that focus on self care. Um, I mean, it could just be like 5 minutes when you get up from bed before you even check your phone. Before you even check your phone, spend like 5 minutes reading a book, a physical book, not one with a screen, because you're going to be too distracted. You're going to want to check your socials, and then half your day is wasted. Um,
It's like,
so,
oh, it's noon already. Okay,
oh
great.
crap! But I only watched like 55 TikToks. Um, just small things that can, whether that be meditation. I know starting tomorrow, I'm gonna say this, and then my wife is gonna be in the background. She's gonna go, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, because I'm gonna say these things, and I'm not gonna do it. Um,
So,
so
so you're giving yourself accountability right now.
yes,
It's on the air.
so I get my son up at 6:20 in the morning to go to school.
Oh,
Well, not
that's early.
tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday, but Monday. I'm thinking that tomorrow's Monday, unfortunately. Um, so I normally set 3 alarms. I have one set for 6:15. That's my okay. You should really get up now. I have my 6:20 alarm. That's get out of bed, go wake my son up, and then I have a 6:30 alarm. So as soon as I get up, I go wake my son up for school. I then go back to bed for 10 minutes. What I need to do is when I get up for 6 at 6:20, I need to instead of going back to bed, I need to spend that time doing something, whether that be
Yep.
yoga, doing a couple of uh like a small exercise or something, uh putting an earbud and listening to a little bit of my audiobook that I got going on right now. Um, I got to dedicate that time because I'm just wasting it at this point. Might as well use it for something productive. But it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
lot of time to do self care.
Yeah, and you don't need to block an hour out of your day. Yeah, like I said, 10 minutes, just a little change. Instead of going back to sleep, you could listen to like a motivational speech. You can do how many sit-ups can you do? How many sit-ups and push-ups can you do in 10 minutes? I mean, I could probably do like four, but
Yeah, I think I need to get back in the
little
habit of
changes.
doing like a my little morning doodles. I have a sketchbook. I used to do like a 5 minute doodle every morning just so I can, work on a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm going to work on proportions. I'm going to work on facial expressions. I really need to get back into doing something like that.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's also one of my best like emote ideas come out is when I'm doing a small doodle because I'm not focusing on like making it professional. I'm just focusing on expressions.
Right.
So I think I have, see if I have it in my bag. I was actually working on a couple doodles. Um, so if you don't know, um, probably you don't know, but Hangry, his motto is peace, love, and bacon. And so we've been workshopping some emote ideas and also figuring out his logo. And so I was just doodling just some random ideas. Like there's not a whole lot of detail, but they have a lot of expression. Then you go this way.
Yeah.
So I got like a
Oh my god,
heart,
those are
got
amazing.
a hype. I have a censor one up at the top where he's got like the at hashtag exclamation mark. There's a hype. There's a waving. Based him off of his follower emotes, and I figured we'd start with those. Replace the follower emotes, follower, not father. Um,
Fa-
replace those emotes
Yeah.
so then we could focus on the paid ones at a later time. Uh,
Yeah,
Just
no,
a
that's
simple little doodle, and they have a lot of expression and they're fun.
yeah. I I have a hard time making time in the morning because usually as soon as my feet hit the floor, it's all systems ahead, full speed. I wake up my daughter, get her dressed. I gotta make her breakfast, get her lunch together. I gotta jump into my computer for work. See if there's any emails while she's eating breakfast. Then by like 8:40, it's time to get her to school. And once I drop her off, and now this is where this is where I run into problems when I'm leaving the school. Oh, this is a good time to stop at McDonald's before I go home instead of like coming right back home and jumping right back into work. I'm going to take 10 minutes and get something to eat that I probably don't need. Now, what I could do is I could come home instead of jumping right back onto my computer. I can take, like you're saying, 10 minutes and um, doing something for myself. You know, talking out loud. That might be something I might start doing next week
Yeah.
because I
Um,
eliminate two things: the stress of going right back into work as soon as I get home, and getting out for a McDonald's or Taco Bell breakfast that I don't need.
yeah. But I mean,
So,
sometimes that's well, yes, it might not be the healthiest thing that you can do. Um, but you also need to look at it that is that's also a little bit of you time. You while it might be not be the healthiest thing, you're at least taking the time to make sure you eat something. That's not something that could be said about a lot of other people. A lot of people, the first meal the major meal that they skip is breakfast. I don't know the statistics. I'm not going to bother looking it up because I have everything all the overlays set just right.
don't
That
mess the overlays.
if I jump out of it, I'm going to ruin the whole thing. But the fact that you go and get yourself breakfast and you're making sure that you're eating breakfast to me sounds like you're prioritizing self-care. Now, is it the healthiest? No, probably not.
No.
But at least you're making sure that you're eating something. You can make up for it for lunch and dinner by eating a salad or whatever. Um, Another thing you could probably do is, especially if you work in like a sales field, I know there's a lot of pressure that you need to have certain numbers, this, that, or the other. Self care could be looking in the mirror and saying words of affirmation. Um, Trying to come up with 5 positive things about yourself that you can say, because sales is not a fun field to be in. It's a very dog eat dog world.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so just words of affirmations towards yourself could also be self care, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time either. So there's just
Yeah,
little
you're
small
right.
things that we can do.
Yeah. And I know sometimes I haven't done it recently, but there were times where when I'm at work and just getting, just slammed at work, or, questioning my ability, I would go online and look up motivational quotes, or motivational speeches, and just take 5 minutes and read them. Anything that I found useful, I was posting up on Twitter as well, just to kind of, share it with everyone. I haven't done that in a while. I need to get back into doing that.
Yeah.
But it is good to kind of hear other people, um, uh, like I said, motivational speeches, and to kind of take a part of that and apply it to your life as well.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you just got to do little things for yourself. Um, Sometimes you got to be your own hype man. Uh, I
A
know,
lot
I
of
know. When
times,
I was
yeah.
in high school, I had to do a lot of that because while, um, while yes, I did have the six packs and I had the long hair. I was very vain, but I also had a lot of self doubt too. So I definitely had to do words of affirmation for myself. Talking in the mirror. You may have six pack abs, but you're brave. You might have long hair, but at least you're committed. At least you didn't get an STD. There's that
Yeah,
too.
woo.
uh, but so next would be to seek social support. That could be talking to friends, family about how you're feeling, and seek help when you need it. I know a lot of people they like to well, if I seek help, that means I'm weak. No, you're not
Mhm.
weak. Seeking out help, in my opinion, is the greatest form of strength that you can have. Um, Because I know I don't like doing it. I hate asking for help. Even if it's just to talk to somebody, I hate asking for it because I still internalize that that's a form of weakness for myself. But what I'm telling you, do as I say, not as I do. Seek help. You're going to need it, and you're going to feel so much better when you do. But make sure you vet the people that you're talking to. Um, Not all family is out there to help you. Not all friends are out there to help you. So vent to those that you can trust, not just some Joe Schmo on Twitter that they had a really cool handle for their account.
And that's one thing you got to be careful of. I see a lot of people just laying it all out, publicly on Twitter. I mean, that's fine, but you do have a lot of people out there that are toxic and can, you know, some of the replies that I've seen for some people are like, that is not helpful at all. So, I mean, form a healthy network of friends and family that you would trust going to. Um, yeah, like you say, you need it. There was a time at work where I was taking everything on, and my own manager was like, "If you need help, just reach out." And I was always like, "No, I got this. I don't want to burden anyone else.
Nope,
I got."
nope. Red flag,
Um,
red flag.
yeah, exactly. It's like, nope. If I ask for help, that means I'm not doing my job right. I'm falling behind. And it's funny because asking, or talking with some of my other coworkers, I find they're in the same position. They're just as bogged down and overworked. So it's not like just me asking for help because I need it. We actually it's turned into like we're forming a network of you know I'll reach out, ask for help. They'll be able to help me. They'll reach out to me, uh, and it's just this just as many complaints I have about my job, my coworkers are amazing. We're always there for each other, and it's it helps a lot. So if you do need any sort of help, don't feel like you're the only one. Don't feel like you're lesser of a person for it. Ask for the help. What's the worst that can happen?
um, I
Sorry for the
know.
rambling
Oh
there.
no, you're fine. Shoot. Saya's episode, which is coming out here this Friday, the 27th. It was tangent after tangent after tangent.
Yeah, that's and when I start talking, I really don't have like a clear point A to B
Yeah.
path of what I'm gonna say in my mind. It kind of just finds its way as I speak, and I eventually get there. Other times, just I trail off and I think to myself, I don't know what I was thinking there,
Yeah.
but
Sometimes talking with you is like playing it. It's you've seen those pictures where you have to connect the dots to make the picture. It's
yeah,
it's like that. We start at 1, next thing we know, we go to 3. Oh crap, we need to go back to 2,
yeah,
and then you jumped
I
over to
missed 5.
7, and then you realize, oh, this does not look exactly like the picture said it was supposed to be.
Yeah, well,
This was
that's not
supposed
a
to be
bunny
Iron
rabbit. I
Man.
don't know
How
what
come
that
it looks like
was.
General Grievous? Um, so definitely seek out help. Talk to someone that you trust. Uh, I am not a person that trusts talking to coworkers or managers, mostly because I used to be in a toxic work environment
Yeah,
and they use that information against me. So if you have work stuff, don't talk about it with your coworkers or your boss, because you don't always know their intentions when you do so.
yeah.
Um, find friends. I know if I'm struggling with anybody, I have a list of a minimum of 5 people I could talk to, and 3 of them have already appeared on this podcast. So um, definitely seek out the help if you need it. Use that app, White Flag. That's another good resource for that because it's completely anonymous. You don't have to worry about it coming back to you. They they've made sure that your phone number isn't seen by anybody. You can go through and actually pick what information about you is known. I think default everything's turned off except for your username.
Okay,
But
all
if you
right.
wanted to, you can go through and click it. Maybe you want to show your age. Maybe you want to show this or that or the other. That's another resource for this. There's plenty of resources out there. Seek out the help that you need. Next tip would be to find balance. Much like setting boundaries, finding balance is important too. Because
Yeah.
if you put all your eggs in one basket, guess what? The the balance is going to tip one way or the other, and those eggs are going to fall to the ground, and you're going to waste precious money in this economy.
Yeah, eggs
Eggs are
are
too expensive.
don't put your eggs in one basket. That's too much money that you'll waste if you drop them. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I think my wife said somebody was at the grocery store and like we got milk, we got bacon, we had to take a loan out to get eggs.
I haven't
Find
bought bacon in like 6 months. I'm going through withdrawal.
oh no. But yeah, make sure that you find a balance. That way you're not overworking or overcommitting yourself.
Mm,
And much like prioritizing your self care, build leisure time into your schedule. Could be 10 minutes here, could be 20 minutes there. Um, it could be taking a freaking lunch break. I'm terrible at it. Like I said in the
yep.
last episode, I get my route. I work for a shredding company, so I drive a truck every day. I go through my list. I have, oh, I need this, 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 and this for my run. And eventually I get halfway through the list. I'm like, oh crap, it's 1 o'clock and we get done at 4:30. I should probably not take a lunch and keep going with my list. Um, my bosses have told me that they are not happy that I do that because while yes, they'll pay the overtime, they don't want it to be a constant thing because they can get in trouble with the state if I don't take my lunches. So
At
take
least they
breaks, find
yeah.
balance.
I'm bad with that too because I get involved in, just finishing up one thing, starting another, finishing up with that, starting another, and before you know it, it's like 2 o'clock. I got a meeting at 2:15. I can't, take a lunch.
Yeah.
But I can sit outside for 5 minutes. So I need to get better at that. I need to get better at taking that lunch. If you get lunch, use a lunch. If you get breaks, use breaks. Um, I should live by my own advice, but that's what we're here for. We're trying to get better, right?
Yeah. I mean, not only are we trying to help ourselves, but we're also putting ourselves out there to help other people.
Yeah,
Um, so, like you said, even if we just help one person, that's a win in our books.
that should be our motto. That should be our mission statement.
Yeah, I could probably work that in there. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why we got the one that we got. I think I just said it at the end of one episode and kind of just stuck.
It's true.
When life gets you down, stand tall and we forge on.
Yeah, I like that though. I
I mean,
like it.
I always try to find ways to call back to the title of the thing.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
um,
but it's true. Like if one person finds any of this advice helpful and works it into their lives and finds it useful, we've succeeded.
so finding balance is very important. It's something that's kind of really hard to do. But like we said in the last episode, kind of set like a block schedule for yourself. Um, I know certain jobs it's easier said than done. Like I'm in a truck, so I'm kind of at the whims of what my route sheet is and the traffic to get to certain
Right.
places. But I still try and block my day out. So I would definitely recommend that. Next would be to seek professional help. Um, that could be a therapist. Well, professional help would be a therapist, not this podcast. We are not professionals in any way, um, for legal reasons, of course. Um, but if
Right.
you're experiencing any symptoms of burnout, that could be chronic fatigue, loss of motivation, difficulty focusing, definitely consider seeking help from a therapist or counselor. Where you're at in life, that might be harder to do. Um, I will have links in the description to 3 online resources. I don't know them off the top of my head. I just know of BetterHelp. That's the one that comes to my head most often, just because the name's easier to remember. Um, but definitely seek help. I know not always going to a physical location is able like you're able to do it. So definitely like an online therapist like BetterHelp would be a good option too.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. Just type in to Google, see what's in your area, and yeah, definitely reach out if none of the tips, or if you read any um, stress relieving techniques or anything like that. If none of that's working, and you're still really, really, feeling it, yeah, it's time to go to the next level and see what helps in your area and just reach out.
And just know that seeking professional help, or any help for that matter, is not an admission that you're weak. Um, it's actually quite the opposite for me. It's an admission that you are strong enough to know that you need help.
For
Um,
sure.
Next step would be to be proactive in your mental health. Definitely go to Google, look up the early signs of burnout. There's like those things that we listed earlier: the chronic fatigue, loss of motivation, difficulty
Hmm.
focusing. As soon as you start to feel any of those, that's when you start to put these steps really into place. I recommended doing much sooner than that before you start to see signs, just so that you're being proactive with your health. Um, but sometimes it's when these things start to set in is that you get the red flag going up. Oh, I need help.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For me, it took being doubled over in pain, thinking I'm having some sort of heart attack. It's sometimes that's what it takes for someone to wake up. But yeah, if you can take some proactive measures before something like that happens, it's always better.
well, all these steps are very important. I personally think that this next one is the most vital, and that's don't be hard on yourself. Uh, Trying to avoid self criticism, negative self talk. Um, Sometimes that's so when you start to delve into negative self talk, it negativity has a way of really eating at you. It kind of starts to suck all of the goodness that's in your life, um, like things like so and so can bench press 50 plus pounds more than me, and now you're starting to feel like you don't have the strength, you're not strong enough, or so and so is getting better sales numbers than I am. I'm not a good um, salesman. I'm not good at getting to the checkout line for customers. just, or even like, I'm an artist. My negative self-talk is that I'm not a good enough artist. Um, I know a lot of that's been happening this week because I'm still trying to figure out this stinking logo. Um, and
And I
it's
feel
and it's not
we can
and
talk
it's
about this off air if you want, but
no,
oh
no,
my
no, and
god.
it's not anything to do with the customer at all. It's just like sometimes I have a hard time with racking my brain around
Yeah,
what the customer asked for, and in my mind, it should be this, but then in the customer's mind, it's completely different, and so it's hard for me to take myself out of the situation and give exactly what the customer wants, and it's hard for me to kind of meld that. And so
yeah,
I think, oh, I'm not a good enough artist because I can't give what the customer is exactly wanting, or doing it in the way that they are happy to see it. Um, and this is also like with emotes too. Like I'm not streaming, but that doesn't mean I don't want to have emotes for my channel for like when I go into someone else's chat, I can start spamming my emotes.
yeah.
I'm having a hard time figuring out emotes for myself because I have Pokemon emotes, I have long hair soaring emotes, I have my hair pulled back into a man bun emotes. Like I have so many different ideas for emotes, but I don't know how to execute it.
Right.
So that's a lot of the negative self talk for myself. We have to learn to have self compassion for ourselves. Um, you're Soaring. You're a fantastic artist. Um, you did all this stuff for the podcast. You've done merch designs. I've done merch designs for Cal Joker, Tier, myself, Raptor, another member of the podcast. Um, I've done. I've got a couple merch designs for Hangry when he does launch his merch store. Um, I've done pieces for church. I've done a painted mural for a restaurant during a Christmas event. Like I've done a lot of cool things, but my mind always tends to focus on the negative. So don't be hard on yourself. It's okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that everything that I see that you do, whether it's merch or the logos or anything like that, I'm always impressed at the uh the level of artistic ability that you have. So when someone like you says that you have self-doubt of your own abilities, I find that surprising because I know I have trouble with stick figures. You've seen some
Yeah,
of my art redemptions.
I mean,
They're not good.
you're what brand was that? Was that like a Dollar Tree Squirtle that you did? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
I can't remember the store that we
it
associated
was the
with it.
Great Value Squirtle.
That's right, the Walmart brand.
I think it was Xcurter redeemed it and asked me to draw Squirtle from memory. And
Oh
now
yeah.
you know me and Pokemon. I know maybe 2 Pokemon.
I know Pikachu and I know
I know
Clefairy
Pikachu.
because that guy said it in that video once.
Yes. When he said Squirtle, I'm like, "Well, the name Squirtle sounds like a turtle, so he might look like a turtle."
And there's bits of squirrel in there. I don't know how they
Maybe.
mix.
So, I did the best I could, and it just came out 100%. Like, but like I said, everything that, emotes to merchandise, I just think, you nail it. So that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking that. So, take that how you will, sir.
I did a piece for Tier. I know he's probably uh, said this on Twitter or he's alluded to it in his own stream, but his dog died, BB. And
Yeah.
when I found out that that happened, I wanted to uh, pay tribute to her, but also make something for him because I know he's also been struggling with paying the vet bills. I'll have a link to his
Oh,
coffee, so if you want to donate to those vet bills, that'd be greatly appreciated. But I made a
okay.
piece for him. It was an honor to her. I'll have it posted in the Discord, or I'll DM it to you privately. Um, but I know I made Tear cry because I sent him the rough version of it, and he is like, I can't handle this right now. And then a couple days later, I'm like, hey, is everything okay? and I sent him the final piece, and he told me on stream. He showed everybody on stream, said we're gonna make merch of this, and
Yeah.
he was choking back tears. So
Oh.
uh,
Yeah, that's always a tough thing to go through.
yeah, we'll definitely have an episode about grief. I know I'm still dealing with grief with my grandpa. Um,
Mhm.
During Christmas, my dad made pillows of my grandpa's shirts they used to have, and man, did I bawl like a baby.
Yeah. Um, my father-in-law passed away years ago, and my wife just made teddy bears out of some of his favorite shirts. He wore like the Hawaiian shirts.
Oh yeah.
So we got a couple of teddy bears and like his favorite Hawaiian shirts. And yeah, those are,
Yeah.
they were when we first saw them, they were tough to look at. But that's part of the things that you treasure in your life.
So just don't be hard on yourself. It's okay that things aren't always perfect, but focus on positive things. Like a tip I said earlier, go find a mirror or pull out your phone and turn it to a selfie cam and talk to yourself. It's give yourself words of affirmation. Self criticism and negative talk is not good for your psyche. Not good at all. Um, Last tip would be to be mindful of your environment. Check if you're happy with the people you're working with, the company culture, and if there's any changes that you can make to improve your work environment. I know Hangry, he's work from home. Um, Something I would recommend is making your workspace a place you want to be in. You know, have Funko Pops or cool lights or posters or whatever. That way you want to go into that room versus dreading it every day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
you
I
want to
don't
have a little bit of personality.
like I don't know if you can see it in my camera, but I have a lot of things that I enjoy. I got my Gundams up here. I got Funko Pops, a lot of Pokemon plushes. Um, and so I try to make my space that I'm in a place I want to be in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you need a space that brings you joy, especially if it's a work environment. You want to be able to look around and uh, feel inspired, feel happy, and just yeah. Like I only have a few, pieces of art, but like by my desktop workstation over here, I have like musical posters and just a bunch of stuff that I can look at. Um, just really bring down the stress a little bit.
yeah. So as with coping with stress, remember that some of these tips might work for some better than others. It's important to experiment and then find what works for you personally. Um, these won't be the end all be all. Definitely work on positive self speak. See a professional if you're really struggling. Um, Reach out to people. Know that it's not an admission of weakness. Um, and it's okay to not go 0 to 100. Um, Learn the signs early on of what uh, burnout looks like, that we can put some of these tips into place, that we don't get into a position to where like I was last year and I just quit everything. Um, there's things that you can
And
do, even just small things.
yeah, and we're all here. If I know you personally, if you get overwhelmed with even this podcast and you need us to do something, I'll be more than happy to help you out in any way I can, whatever that might be, as long as it's not the art, because unless you want some really really amateur art for this, but
I
but
mean,
seriously, if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed with everything else and you want to reach out, hey, can you do this for the podcast real quick?
yeah.
We're all there for. I'm sure none of us would mind.
Um, while currently the Discord is not open to public members, we will look at opening it up here shortly. I don't know a time frame yet, but if there's a link down in the description for the Discord, that means it's open. But if there isn't a link, that means we haven't opened it up yet. I will try and be proactive about putting that link as soon as it is open to older episodes. That way, if you're watching episode 1 because you need it, or episode 2 or whatever, you'll have that link. My socials at least are open. You're more than welcome to contact me, whether it be on the WeForge on Twitter account or my personal account, the Soaring Night one. Definitely reach out if you need it. But if you found this episode helpful, definitely leave us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit at least 100 so that we can have the custom URL to make it easier to share the channel, because YouTube is kind of wonky if you don't have 100 subscribers. It's really hard to find the channel unless you know like the custom URL, because searching it doesn't really seem to work unless you type it in into the Google search bar. So if you found this episode helpful, leave a like, comment if you have a topic you want us to go over. Definitely check out our socials if you want to know when we're going to post the next episode. And just remember, when life gets you down, stand tall, and we forge on.